Good afternoon, guys. How's everyone doing? Welcome to my channel, Joey Barnett TV, where I like to upload different content daily and I like inspiring other people. The reason why I enjoy doing that is because I've led such a crazy, mad, insane life previously that now I actually tell my story to deter anyone from following my footsteps or from thinking, committing crimes, taking drugs and just acting like an idiot is acceptable, because it's not, and it's an absolute and utter mugs game. Now, I'm very, very, very ashamed of my past. I will not glamorise crime in any shape or form because I've paid the highest price you could ever pay apart from going into the ground. In that sense, I'm lucky that I survived it and got out of it, and I'm still here today to tell you the tales, because I'll tell you something, in that life, what I was leading back in the day, I've lost many, many mates down to different like things like suicide, overdosing, just people dying of illnesses, and I feel very grateful to be here today to tell you them stories. But that's the reason why I opened up my channel, guys. It's all about awareness for me. It's not about gain. It's not about views. It's not about clicks. If they come along the way, then it's a bonus in my books. But, this is why I set my channel up to spread awareness. And I really do hope and pray that people can watch my videos and I inspire people and let everyone know that lifestyle which I led back in the day is a complete mugs game, and this is why I set my channel up. So thank you to each and every single one of my viewers and my followers for following my journey, and welcome on board if you've just arrived. Everyone is welcome across my channel, and please don't forget to hit the little bell, give me a thumbs up, share, subscribe and all the rest of it. So I've got to try and slow down a bit. That's my problem. I try and fit so much into one video because I'm on limited time with on my channel at the minute. Not limited time as in limited, but I've got other things going on in the background, so I'll try and get everything put into, I don't know, a 5-minute video, which is never ever going to be possible. So I'm better off just to slow myself down and maybe even spread the stories out. Yeah. So this afternoon, what I want to have a little chat with you about is the old skinhead days. And as you can see, I still love my shirts, still have Ben Shermans and button-up collars and things like that. And yeah, the skinhead days, the 80s was actually the best days of my life. Sham 69, Madness, the specials and all that. And we used to go to a skinhead club once a week called Streatham Youth Club, and it's still there today. It's actually a community youth club. But yeah, we all used to meet there every Saturday and go like lunatics together, jumping up in the air, shaking our heads. But I'll tell you something now. A lot of people don't realise when they think of skinheads, they think, oh, they're trouble and they're scruffy. To be a skinhead back in the day, you had to have money, because it was a very smart fashion what skinheads followed. So we used to wear things like Ben Shermans, even Farrah's. I remember Farrah trousers, Levi jeans, turn up at the bottom, Dr. Martin boots, Oxblood, bleached jeans, Crombies, braces. It was like silk stuff, two-tone. I used to have a two-tone suit. So yeah, you had to, you had to stay up to date with the fashion and be with that, follow up. You had to have money behind you. So I don't know where that comes from, that skinheads were trouble and skinheads were scruffy people, because we're probably, the smartest fashion there is of today even. But yeah, from a skinhead I turned into a punk, so I went right through that era, right through the 80s. Sid Vicious, Johnny Rotten and all the rest of them, and it was the great days. I remember it so vividly, and you can't bring them days back. So me seeing that guy earlier on, and his name is Roy, by the way, and he's a local legend around my area. He's an old veteran too, so yeah, he's got a lot of respect in the area, and it was great meeting him earlier on and having a chat with him. But yeah, I'm going to be ringing him up because he gave me his personal number, so I'm going to be ringing him up and seeing if we can sort out a podcast so I can go and do a little interview with him, maybe for an hour, to give all my viewers a little bit of a treat. Because it is good talking about the good old days, isn't it? You know, the old mods and rockers, and some of them Vespers, you know, they're worth, as you heard Roy earlier on, £28,000 that Vesper's worth nowadays. I remember them back in the day. You used to get them for a few £100. But yeah, Lambrettas, Vespers, I had all of them. I had an FS1E, a Fizzy, an AP50, I had a little RD. But yeah, it just went on and on and on. But that was my era, growing up in the 80s, was skinhead. My sister Angela was even a skinhead. I remember the haircuts. I used to have a skinhead with just a little like margin there. And my sister Angela, she used to have a skinhead on top with a little bit on the front and a bit on the back bleached. And it was very, very fashionable back in the day. It really was. But yeah, guys, what a legend Roy was. And when he still rides that bike today, that's a 200cc two-stroke bike. And yeah, it's worth £28,000. But it's great, isn't it? It's great that you've still got people like that about, still to tell the tales. And that era is definitely dying out. It's a dying breed, unfortunately. But you know, it was a better era then, back in the early 80s, than what it is today, you know. Everyone was friendly. You could mix well, you know, you could leave things out on the street without having to worry about it getting stolen. You could even leave your doors open in your house. We used to tie little bits of string around our letterbox and leave it hanging down so that your neighbours could get in your house. You know, neighbours were knocking on each other's doors, borrowing each other sugar, milk and bits and pieces, bread. And I even remember the food. I used to love bread and dripping. Do you remember that? Bread and dripping, guys. That is really giving up my age now, ain't it, eh? The old 1980s. I was born in 68, by the way, guys. So I'm 54 years of young. 54 years young, eh? But yes, you know, I've been through all that. I'm not going to go on a doom and gloom one, but I've lost both my parents. You know, I've spent many years in jail. You know, I've had a stinking upbringing. I had family love, don't get me wrong. My mother and my stepdad loved me and my sisters with a passion, and you know, we could have anything as kids. So it wasn't like I went without anything as a kid. But it was that fashion of the 1980s, and it drew me into it, you know, and started hanging about with older boys and things like that. And that's when things started to go wrong from a very early age for me. So yeah, I've been right way through it. And I'm so happy and I'm so grateful that I'm still here today. This is why I don't need to lie. I don't need to exaggerate. I don't need to make any stories up. You know, it's all the proof is in the pudding. I've got all my family on my YouTube to vouch any stories what I say on it. And yeah, I don't like liars neither. I'm not going to go onto that subject and be doom and gloom. But you know, I was brought up with this, with these morals and solidarity. Like, you're better off with a thief around you than a liar. Because with a thief, you just won't give them the opportunity to steal anything off of you. But with a liar, they fabricate things, make things up, believe their own stories. And, you know, Chinese whispers get out. And before you know it, everyone believes in the liar, you know. But in the end, the truth always does come out. And it always come out, you know. It's called karma. And the truth will always 100% come out, guys. So, that's why I like to keep it real on my channel. As I said, I don't exaggerate. I don't make out I'm something what I'm not. I haven't got this squashed nose and all these scars all around my face, all around my head for nothing. I was once a very, very naughty, dangerous, horrible lad. Let's get it straight. You know, I can't glamorise it. I can't sugarcoat it. That was the lifestyle which I was leading. I had a dangerous mindset, especially when things started going pear-shaped for me. You know, I was a very game for my own likings, probably dangerous lad. And I was fighting every weekend, you know. And my way of fighting back in the day, you know, wasn't with these, you know. It was other things, which I'm not even going to mention on here because it's not all about glamorising. And, you know, these days, you don't see anyone having punch-ups and tear-ups now. It's all like knife crime and gun crime, and it's gone absolutely bonkers out here. But it's a lot worse today, the violence, than what it was back in the day. Back in the day, you'd have a fight, and, you know, it might be an arranged fight. That's another thing we used to do when we were skinheads at the club. We used to arrange to meet other clubs, other communities, and we used to have punch-ups with each other, all skinheads fighting against skinheads. Wasn't no postcodes. It was just fun back then. Do you know what I mean? But weapons was not involved. They was not mentioned. It was just hands, fist, and feet, and your head. You know, to wake up like Saturday morning or Sunday morning, picking glass out of your ear and both your eyes hanging out, your lip gone and your nose gone was a normal thing to me. It really was. That's how I got this nose. You know, it won't go that way, but it go that way plenty, right up my face. I'm an ugly old sod, ain't I? But here you go, guys. So yeah, the other day I did. I hope you enjoy my content, by the way, guys. It's all my own content, by the way. I don't like chucking names, especially if I haven't got that person's permission. You know, I don't like spreading propaganda. I don't like fabricating stories. It's all my own stories. And to be honest with you, I haven't got enough time left to live of my lifetime to tell every one of my stories. It just goes on and on and on. So I'm never, ever, ever going to run out of content, guys. Sorry, guys, I was just paused my phone because my phone rang just now. But it's good because the device which I'm using for my channel allows me to pause videos and answer phones and answer messages and bits like that. So I'm sorry if you see that pause on my video, guys. But yeah, I did promise you the other day that I'll be talking about the escape. It's not everyone's cup of tea. And just let me get one thing straight now, guys. Not for 1 minute, in any way, shape or form, am I glamorising crime. You know, I'm just telling you straight how it was for me and what happened for me. And, you know, I don't advise anyone to do it nowadays because, you know, you pay a very high consequences for your actions, and you would get a very, very long sentence if you did what I did. So it was in year 1999. I had that crazy mindset. I'll give Yami a mention on here because Yami was on House Block 4 in Belmarsh when I was in there, and he was round me, and he could vouch for what I was like back in the day. And if you ask him, he'll tell you straight, ruthless. And yeah, non-stop. It was just non-stop. I was a complete and utter live wire all the way through it. Well, not all the way through it. Quite a few years into it until I got near to the end of it where I started knuckling down a little bit and thinking about the outside. But yeah, I had you know, all the support in the world and all the love in the world given to me by my family, and that was a godsend because without them, you know, I probably wouldn't be here today. I'd have, you know, I don't want to go on about it, but you know what I'm saying. I spent many years in jail, and you know, a lot of people, I feel sorry for a lot of people who go to jail that hasn't got no family, and they've accepted it as their second home, and that's what I've done back in the day. It was literally a revolving door, and prison for me wasn't no deterrent. What it actually was for me, was a college for crime. And what we done while we got in there, all of us together, we conspired with each other on the bit of work we was going to go on next when we got out, and that is the dead honest truth. And that probably still goes on today. So what I was going on about to a few of my pals back in the day was like how we wouldn't get caught the same way again the second time round, you know. And that's what I'm saying to you. Prison was like a second home to me. So I'm so happy. I'm so grateful that I've reformed myself and said goodbye to my old lifestyle, because I feel better today at the age of 54 than what I did when I was in my early 20s. But yeah, away from prison, I've had a very, very crazy life. I've done many, many, many different things in life. You know, I've had my own businesses. I've owned breakers' yards. I used to cut up vans, trucks. I've done banger racing. I've been in like the skinhead scene, and then I went into the rave scene down the Old Kent Road, and all the big field raves and warehouse raves and bits like that. So yeah, I've got a lot of content to come, guys. And that's when I first met Dave Courtney, by the way. It was in the early 90s. I think it was like 92 or 93. He was at the Arches, at Dance Wicked, at Vauxhall. And he was behind a jump selling bottles of water to all us ravers. And it's only now that I realise that them bottles of water, we always got given them with the top off. So what he was doing, he was going to the sink, filling it up, Evian bottles, filling them up with tap water, and yeah, giving us them, and we weren't to know any better because we was off our faces and all. Everyone was in a good mood, happy, enjoying ourselves, because that's what it was like back in the day at rave scenes. Love, and everyone was around each other and enjoying each other's company, and it was crazy days. When I remember going in the toilet, looking at my face in the mirror, and like it was all different angles, and a total stranger would come in the toilet and we'd be, "Oh mate," and "Yeah, I know you," and talking about families and what we used to get up to. You tell each other's life story within 5 minutes. Do you know what I mean? And at the end, you'd walk out arm in arm, best friends. Do you know what I mean? Introducing that person to your pals who you was with. That's what the rave scene was like back in the day. There was no violence. That didn't come until a bit later on. If you want the dead honest truth, it didn't come until the jungle scene come in, and that's when all the weapons started coming out, and people was going out to enjoy themselves and getting robbed and things like that. And that's when I stopped going. Do you know what I mean? In that era at the jungle scene. So yeah, guys. But let's go back onto the escape. So I was in Belmarsh. I was around all the boys in there. Yammy's one of the names I was with. I'd like to give him a shout. I hope you're doing well, Yammy, mate. You're doing well on your podcast. Keep that positive stuff coming in, mate. But yeah, there was quite a few of us in there at that time. Razor was in there. Charlie Cray was in there. Frankie Fraser's boy. Courtney was in there. He was down he was on the unit. Rookie Lee, Ollie Whitelock, Franny Pope, Charlie Tozer. There was just so many names in there. It was, and I was young, so when I got in there, I was only 29. And these guys, what I'm talking about, they're all in their 40s now, so they'd calmed down. They just got their lump of burden. They just wanted to get on their sentence. But me, I was 29, still out to prove a point, and that's why I ended up a live wire, to be honest with you. And that's what I've done to get through my sentence. But going back onto the escape. So, it wasn't planned in any way, shape or form. I had 3 other co-defendants in the dock, and we had an informer, a grass, who went Queen's evidence on us and swore our lives away to Barnes and Tower Bridge Flying Squad, and that's how we got took down by an informer. We never got took down coming off a bit of work, coming out of a bit of graft or anything like that. We got took down by a grass, and that's why they had so many robberies on us, so many cases on us, because the grass is with us for quite a few for a good while. He's living with us, and we didn't know all the time. He was disappearing every now and then for an hour, but unbeknown to us, he was going back, feeding information to the flying squad, and he was a paid informer. But if you go back on my videos, guys, you'll see through the videos a little bit about that. I can't really go too much into it because of legal reasons. But this day I mentioned, we was in court, and I was on remand. Obviously, I was a category A at the time because of the nature of my offence and the risk to the public and things like that. We had firearms all over us, and some really horrible robberies, where shots got let off and bits like that. So it was messy. But yeah, this day was went to Inner London Crown Court like normal, and we was up in the dock. The judge was doing his summing up, and he just passed sentence to 2 of my co-defendants. He asked me to stand up in the dock. Now, bearing in mind, we was category A, and it was a very, very high profile case because of the robberies and the nature of the offence. You had armed police, SO19 at the doors in the way to the court, which went out to the gallery or whatever, we went out into the public. We had Security Corps in the dock with us. You had police all around the place. There was armed police surrounding the place, and there wasn't a lot of chance for escape. And it didn't enter my mind until the judge asked me to stand up. As he was doing his summing up, all I remember him saying to me was, the likes of us are menace to societies, we're danger to the public, and the public need a very long break from the likes of people like us. As he said that, I was in court 13, Inner London Crown Court. It was up about 10 foot off the ground. I've jumped over the dock. As I've jumped over the dock, the SO19 police at the doors run towards me. I was only 11 or 12 stone running up to that. I was in the gym every day of the week. I was training. I was fighting fit. I was slippery. I was a live wire. And I was run round the court, and as they tried to grab me like that, I got through the doors. As I got through the double doors, there was more police what pulled into me. I put my head down, rugby tackled them, just run into them like a lunatic. I still wasn't too sure what I was even going to do, you know. It was half my mind that I wanted to get out, but it wasn't planned. So before I know it, I'm running down these corridors in the London Crown Court. All the police are chasing me, but I'm ahead of them, about 10 yards ahead of them. I'm running down these stairs and I've got to a set of swivel doors. Now, I could not believe it. This was the first time I'd ever seen like the street. And all of a sudden I've got through these swivel doors, but as I've got into one of the cubicles in the swivel doors, the coppers was in the other one right next to me. So I'm trying to push to get out into the street and they're trying to push to get it round quicker to get to me. So I've bolted, I've run. I'm running up Borough High Street. There must have been, this is no exaggeration because I don't exaggerate, there must have been 6 armed policemen all chasing me. I was like, by now I was running as fast as I could up Borough High Street. I was a good 50 yards in front of them and I was gaining ground on them. I got all the way off of Borough High Street and looked behind me and there was about 100 yards behind me. I just carried on running as fast as I could. I had a whistle on, a French Connection suit and a pair of slippery shoes. I'll never forget it. I got to the Old Kent Road, up to the roundabout, and as I was running across the roundabout to go underneath the underground, there was a taxi coming towards me. Now, unbeknown to me, I didn't know who was in the taxi. The taxi literally clipped me in the legs and run me over. Taxi doors flung open. 3 policemen jumped out of the back of the taxi, put me in handcuffs, bent me up and arrested me. And that was how I got caught. Now, it come out later on, like once I got charged with it and all the statements come through, it come out that the taxi driver was asked by the police officers to take me out, to knock me over because I was an escaped prisoner. There was a big legal thing going on because they admitted liability for knocking me over. I've got a big scar on my kneecap and it's still there today. I had to have an emergency operation a few days later over the incident and the accident. What they done, knocked me over. So they took me back to Belmarsh, but now I went through reception and they put me into an E-man suit. So I was in a yellow and green jumpsuit. So now I'm a category A prisoner and I'm an E-man. So I'm an A-man and I'm an E-man. And I went back into Belmarsh and my court date, which he was summoning me up for and just about to pass sentence, obviously got adjourned. I had to go back a few months later and I received 12 years for the armed robberies and I received a consecutive sentence on top of my 12 years for the escape. So I hope you enjoy my content, guys. I'll be uploading a bit more in a bit, but make sure you press that bell and subscribe to my channel. Have a good day. Peace.